welcome back to my kitchen. Today we're going to be making a ceviche shrimp salad. I'm going to be using 3 pounds of uncooked raw shrimp, and we're also going to need about 8 limes, half of a red onion, a bunch of cilantro, 2 cucumbers, 3 avocados, and 2 tomatoes. We're going to start out by removing the tails from our shrimp. Once all the tails are removed, we're going to add the juice from 3 limes. And for seasonings, I'm going to use 2 teaspoons of black pepper, salt, and paprika. Add your seasonings to the shrimp and mix it really well. Now we're going to cover it and refrigerate it for 15 to 20 minutes. And while our shrimp is marinating, we're going to chop our vegetables. We're going to start out with the red onion. I'm only going to be using half of the red onion. If you have a food chopper, you can use one of those. It makes it a lot easier and quicker. But I like to do it by hand, so we're going to be chopping everything by hand. And once it's all done, we're going to add everything into a large bowl. Make sure you get a bowl big enough to fit all the vegetables and the shrimp once it's done. Now we're going to move on to the tomatoes. I'm going to trim off the edges. Then I'm going to chop them into fairly small pieces. I'm using regular salad tomatoes, but you can also use Roma tomatoes. Now we're going to move on to our cucumbers, but first I'm going to give my cutting board a good rinse and remove all the tomato juice that's still on there. I love to make this salad, especially during the summertime, because it's so refreshing and easy to make, and it doesn't require a lot of cooking. Now if you want to avoid turning on your stove, you can also cook your shrimp with lime juice. You would probably need a little bit more than 8 limes to cook the shrimp, and it usually cooks pretty fast with the lime juice. I like to do it on the stove because it gives it a different flavor. Just about done chopping our vegetables. Now we're going to chop our cilantro. Now we're going to move on to our avocados. And the best way to pick your avocados when you're in the store is, especially if you're going to use them right away, make sure they have a nice softness to it. Not too soft, just enough that you can kind of press your finger on it. Because usually if they're too soft, then they're probably overripe. Now these avocados are nice and ripe, but they're not too overripe. If they were too overripe, they'd be falling apart while we'd be trying to remove the skin. So these are perfect. Now we're just going to slice them the long way like that, and then we're going to chop them into smaller pieces. And then we're going to add it into the bowl along with the other vegetables. Now that our vegetables are ready, we're going to move on to cooking the shrimp. In a large skillet, we're going to add a couple tablespoons of olive oil. And once our oil is nice and hot, we're going to add in the shrimp. We're going to cook our shrimp on medium heat. We're going to move them around often during the process. It should take about 20 minutes or so. If you see a lot of liquid, it's okay because it will simmer down once the shrimp is well done. When your shrimp is done, it should look like this. Now we're just going to remove it from the burner and let it cool down for about 15 minutes. Once your shrimp is nice and cool, we're going to roughly chop it a little bit at a time, and then we're going to add it to the bowl along with all the other vegetables. And now that we have all the shrimp in there, we're going to add the remainder of the limes. Now at this point, you can also add salt and pepper to it if it needs it. Now we're just going to mix everything together. Make sure to give it a good mix and get all those vegetables well integrated with the shrimp and everything else. This smells so delicious. I wish you could smell it. And it's so refreshing to enjoy on a hot summer day. You can enjoy it on tostadas or with chips. Look how delicious and refreshing that looks. This is so amazing and delicious. I can't wait to dig into this. I'm going to serve it with a side of chips. And of course, don't forget your Valentina. This goes great with Valentina or any of your favorite hot sauce right on top. It is super delicious. Thank you so much for stopping by today. I really hope you enjoyed watching this video. And if you did, give me a big thumbs up. And I'll see you another day for another recipe. Thank you so much for watching.